Welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown. My regular two co-hosts, Mark Hunt and Nam Fawn, are off today, but of course, we're welcoming back Patty Cohen of Compass Realty. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia questions for 5-pack tanning certificate given away during the show. And that certificate is not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon, with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. Today's theme is entertainment. Patty, tell us what is going on with real estate.
Well, this is absolutely amazing. I mean, I know we keep saying that, but 2022 is like no other. You know, quick example. And there's a lot of confusion. So quick example, interest rates have gone up 50% in 2022. And it's just the first quarter, and then people are saying, well, I'm going to wait for prices to go down, because don't prices go down when interest rates are up? Well, let's get into the basis of that for the listeners. Well, why is that? Well, because if interest rates are higher, then payments are going up, so they can afford less. So in theory, prices are supposed to go down. But we all know at the gas pump, and when we buy eggs, and when we buy clothes and restaurants, inflation, we all know about inflation. Well, real estate is the best hedge against inflation, because when those eggs are going up, so are real estate prices. So, nationwide, in the last 12 months, prices have gone up 19.2%.
Wow.
And that's insane. And meanwhile, interest rates went up 50%. So it's kind of like, when is this going to end? What's really happening? But, oh yeah. And then the highest overbidding period ever, meaning almost every house goes over asking, and they go over asking like 8%, 15%, 20%. And, occasionally you're going to get a little blip, and they're not going to, or they're going to sit, because not everybody's going to, sellers set the prices. So anyway, but it's just like a jungle out there. And I feel really bad for buyers.
So what you were saying though, what was the highest overbidding?
Oh gosh, I heard of a property last few weeks ago that I think was like 3 million in Mill Valley, and it went for 6 million.
Wow.
Maybe, it's 5 million something. It was up there,
Even 3 million was probably not like so underpriced, was it?
No.
How many square feet?
And then is this the froth on the market? And then we're going to be all next year, oh, well, they overpaid. But no, we're going to be doing this for a while.
So how many square feet was that house? Do you remember?
I don't remember. But like Mill Valley and the Flats, Sycamore Park, those things, like a little, what I call a grandma house, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath cabin cottage would go for 2 million easy. So
it's probably like $1,500 a foot or more.
Yeah, it's 1,500, and sometimes you're seeing things go for 2,000 a foot, and even West Marin, I know everybody around here, we're covering the whole Bay Area, but I'm got my eyes on Marin County. So for example, West Marin, it's on septic, it's pretty dark out there. Woodacre, Lagunitas, they're going for a minimum of 1,000 a square foot.
Well, a lot of it, I guess, you still have the supply chain issues. Labor's up, the inflation. That's part of the inflation issue, is the costs of lumber and all the other materials are going up.
Yeah. And in theory, wages are going up also, but it's pretty crazy.
Well, before we cut to our first break, do you have any specific statistics to share with us?
Some, but not that much. I will work on that.
Well, how many listings did you have you gotten so far this year?
This year, oh gosh, probably like 5, and they're all except for 1 are flying out the door. Tomorrow I'm looking at, and for example, tomorrow I'm looking at offers on a house on Panoramic. Panoramic is halfway to Stinson Beach. It's on the top of Mount Tam, and on septic. So typically they would be harder to sell. We're going to get 3, 4, 5 offers, and it's a $2 million house.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, that must, I was just saying, as a listing agent, boy, that's gotta be great to get those houses that just fly off the shelf.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean,
But
you still have to do, your due diligence part of it, but you don't have to do as much marketing.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all about preparation, doing the reports and the remodels, and then it's
You don't even
stellar.
have time to stage it that long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it used to be the marketing time was 2 months, and that you'd meet them and get it on the market 5 days later. Now it takes months to get it on the market, just to get things in place, because
Gotcha.
almost every single winning bid, not offer, but winning bid, has zero contingencies.
Yeah. And
So,
are they, so they're looking pretty much for turnkey type properties, right? These buyers, they're not looking to do
well,
much improvements.
yeah, I mean, even if it's not turnkey, there's a pool report, a sewer report, a pest inspection, a
Yeah.
home inspection, a roof inspection. So there's no hiding anything. It's just, here it is. Everything that the buyer was going to figure out is already in their hands,
Sure, but
which is such a,
they're just not planning to do a bunch of remodeling. Most of it's been done.
yeah,
Okay,
yes,
Taylor, we're going to
yes.
cut to our first
Okay.
commercial break here. The trivia question has to do with entertainment. First question, which famous actress is Liza or was Liza Minnelli's mother? All right, who was Liza Minnelli's mother? Famous actress. Call 888-912-1190. First caller with the correct answer is going to win that tanning certificate. Also want to make a mention here for the Mount View Hotel and Spa in Calistoga. Beautiful hotel, one of the nicest pools. It's kept warm like all the time because of the natural springs that they have. You got to check them out. It's called Mount View Hotel in Calistoga. And again, I'll read the trivia question for the 5-pack tanning certificate that we're giving away. That's worth over $100. Which famous actress is Liza Minnelli's mother? Call 888-912-1190. First caller with the correct answer is going to win that tanning certificate. Stay with us. Best of Investing. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown. A little under the weather, but we're going to try to trudge through this along with Patty Cohen from Compass Realty. First trivia question: what famous actress was Liza Minnelli's mother? Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, go
I
ahead. You
can't,
can answer.
it's not coming to me.
Back over to Judy
I'm
Garland.
so sick. I'm a foggy.
I know you're also not feeling well. Judy Garland.
Judy Garland, of
Judy
course, of
Garland.
course.
Okay. So Patty, an email comes in from a listener. It says, why are home prices continually rising with the state of the economy in flux?
Well, yeah, it's confusing to a lot of people, because in theory, we're overdue for a correction. It's been how many months? And it's been really like 10 years of rising prices. So, why is this still happening? And then, the other side of it is, like we talked about, well, interest rates are going up. That means prices are going down. And like, people think of that as an absolute law, but it's not really like that. I mean, it's a confluence of factors that have come together to supercharge home prices, basically. So according to Debbie Boyd, DLB Financial Services CEO, she goes, we've got the perfect storm. We've got COVID that didn't, supply chain problems, COVID that drove people to work from home, and then they're moving to states where their families are, or they're just moving to states that are prettier and they want to be in. Now you can work from anywhere. It really has changed the game of employment. So the other thing about it too that I'm finding, especially in the Bay Area, is people are getting like second homes. I mean, I talked to somebody today who was saying, I'm thinking about buying a house in Ross, maybe around 4 million. Is it even possible to find an okay home there for 4 million? And it's sort of possible, believe it or not. And he goes, because this is like we've got 3 other homes. My daughter lives there. So so there's a lot of that. And then there's a lot of people that will say, like my dream, millennials are not, they don't have that same work ethic for the most part. So they're going to get their job done and maybe share housing close by their work if they have to report. But their dream is to be out in the country in a cabin. And, so there's a lot. I mean, I can't totally generalize, but there's people just have different situations. And some of them are saying, I get to, like, Google just changed their policy, and you get to have a certain amount of weeks that you can not only just work from home, but you can go away somewhere for like a month and um, still get paid, and you're working. It's trying to lure people back in and be really flexible.
How do they know whether you're in Barbados or you're in Florida doing your work? I
I
mean,
don't know, maybe
track it, but
Google.
you know,
Yeah, Google knows everything because you'll be logged in and they'll see that, but maybe they know where you're from. I don't know.
I
But
mean,
there's all kinds of reasons why people are getting like second homes and or third homes or fourth homes. So there's that factor too, like all leading to um why our why are prices going up. So the other side of that is, that sort of speaks to supply and demand, and builders are generally not building right now, and they sort of haven't been because they, are we at the beginning of a correction? Well, no, it keeps on going, but it takes a long time to start that process of development. And then of course labor is up,
supply chain
like
is
you
still
mentioned.
an issue for them too. I mean, how are they going to start a house if they can't get the lumber?
Exactly. And you're going to pay like double what you would have paid 2 years ago. So there's all these factors. I mean, and then there is the other factor of, that of demand. Millennials are just getting into the game, and
Yeah.
that's going to continue for many, 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 many years because there's a lot of pent up buying there. And baby boomers are stirring the pot because they're going, okay, I want to get rid of this big house finally. The middle of the baby boomer is 65. So that bulge is going to keep on going. There's nothing that's going to change about that demographic because they will all get older. And
Well,
it's just the beginning of it.
yeah, it seems like as long as there's just lots of activity,
Yeah.
that's what's going to end up happening. It's like if nobody's buying and nobody's selling, then
Yeah.
maybe prices would keep kind of would go down because eventually it would hit a plateau, a bottom part where people would say, okay, well, I'm willing to buy at X price. But now you still have a lot of activity, both moving into the city, out of the city, et cetera. I mean, are we going to start seeing a lot of back into the city again because of the fact that some organizations are asking their employees to come back to work at least part-time?
Yeah, I don't know because they still, I mean, maybe it's part-time, so they'll figure something out, in the city. I don't know. Or, I mean, if people are going half-time, that's theoretically half the traffic. So it
Yeah,
won't be so bad. It's hard to know, but it's all supply and demand, and the demand is there. And then there is supply, but if people are buying second homes and more people are buying that were before, demand, demand, demand.
yeah.
You
And
know,
I would think that, I don't work for Google or anything like that, but if I did, I think I'd like the idea of having to kind of come in part-time because, you don't want to stay at home in your pajamas all the time working from home. That gets really old fast.
yeah,
You have to
yeah,
have a purpose to go somewhere.
yeah, and collaborate with people, and
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I think the whole culture's gotten a little more introverted. You know,
that's for sure.
yeah,
On the old cell phones and tablets, and you can keep yourself amused for hours.
exactly.
Without
I
interaction.
mean, yeah, you got to have an appointment to talk to your mother.
Yeah. In fact, it's one of you mentioned about uh, millennials. My son's a millennial, and he just literally today closed on his house in North
Oh,
Carolina.
nice.
Yeah,
Where isn't he like?
Chapel Hill, North.
Oh, that's so great, so
Yeah,
great.
so it's a nice house. It's a big house for that one the thing grew into, which is kind of sad for me because I want him a little bit closer to home, but
Yeah.
we'll have to do the FaceTime, and then we'll have to go visit him sometimes and have him fly out here, and it's just that eventually when they're grandkids, that one's going to be tough because
Yes.
I guess we'll have to buy
Well,
a second house.
I hear you 100%. I mean, truth be told, one of the reasons I was messed up technology wise because I moved my office because my sister and brother-in-law were here from Virginia staying with me for 5 days because their 27-year-old daughter just moved to San Jose to work for Google.
Ah,
And it's all about the 2-year-old grandchild.
that's right.
So they're going to be coming more often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Tell you what, we're going to cut to our second commercial break while Patty and I try to punch through today. Okay, this kind of goes back in time. What silent film has been called the granddaddy of all Dracula movies? All right. Silent film. In fact, I think it's German, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Yeah, I
not
can't
me.
throw that one there. You'd have to kind of be a silent film critic, know it all to know this one. Call 888-912-1190. First caller with the correct answer wins that tanning certificate. What silent film has been called the granddaddy of all Dracula movies? All right, stay with us. You're listening to The Best of Investing. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to The Best of Investing. Edward Brown along with Patty Cohen. Our second trivia question is kind of a hard one. What silent film has been called the granddaddy of all Dracula movies? It's Nosferatu.
Oh, no.
You have
God,
to know that one. Okay, I figured I'd throw one hard one in there. So
that's a hard one.
interestingly enough, we were talking about interest rates for just a little bit. You said that they went up 50%. It seemed like, I think, didn't a 30-year mortgage just go up like above 5% for the first time?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I'm
So-
looking at it. I'm doing it right now, and it's 5.25, like ridiculous.
Wow. So the interesting thing is apparently though the yield curve is kind of inverted right now, which means that the 10-year bond is a lower rate than the 2-year, which the signs for that generally mean we'd be heading into a recession. But if that's the case, that also says that theoretically interest rates would start going down. That's the reason why the inverted yield curve, where you have a 10-year bond paying less than the 2 years, because, quote, everybody thinks going into a recession, going into lower interest rates. So who knows what's happening? Because didn't the Fed say that they're going to be raising interest rates for the next 6 quarters or something?
Yeah, it's very like the old school like guidelines.
Yeah.
Just I think people are really confused because they just don't know what's going on.
No. And then they only raised them, what, a quarter point the first time, but they're going to be probably doing them in increments of 0.5%. I mean, we could be looking at 7% interest rates on mortgages again. Yeah.
I mean, we all remember when like under 10 was like yippee.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was very fortunate this last year. I locked in at 1.99%.
Oh my God.
It was 15-year, fully am.
Oh
Swinging the
man.
But I think I lucked out.
You did. It's like sometimes we hit it correct, like exact moment in life, and sometimes we don't. You hit it.
No, yeah, I got lucky once.
Yeah, exactly. We can't.
Excuse me. So, Patty, give us some fun stories about some real estate transactions you've dealt with recently.
Oh my God, there's so much crazy stuff that goes on. I might have said this before. If I have, tell me. But this is like really, really a true story. Like, most agents, everybody fills in for open houses. It's not the listing agent always.
Oh, we're having a
and so
attack there. Go ahead.
this agent shows up to do the open house, and the place was a mess. Like beds not made, dishes in the sink, like a mess, like more than just a little bit things out of place. Yeah. She ran around, like literally worked up a sweat. Like that's what we do. We're like, throw this there, make that bed, throw that under the bed, make up the dishes, like run around. I mean, because it was more than just a little bit of stuff. So it's like, good to go. Like, didn't really think anything of it, honestly. Just like, okay, this is a mess. And then she talked to the other agent and said, yeah, pretty bad turnout. Blah, 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 blah. The sellers said, what happened? It didn't look like anybody was at my open house. Like, didn't happen. And she went to the wrong house.
Oh, no. She cleaned up somebody else's house? Oh, that's...
I'm getting so excited about this. It's amazing. It was a true story. Wow. Can you imagine? Like, I mean, personally, I would be ashamed if I was that person. But some people are like, oh, good, she got her house cleaned. And I'm like, no. I would be so ashamed. Like somebody came in my house and just started stashing stuff.
How'd you get the wrong address?
I don't know, but it was a true story.
Like one time we were doing a loan and I got an appraisal for this house and I looked, I go, and I know the house. I go, that doesn't look like the right house. And the appraiser went back out and said, "Oh my gosh, I appraised the wrong house."
Oh my God.
Because I mean, it didn't look like it, and the numbers came out too low, and I said, "Yeah, something's not right here." So,
Can you imagine though, what if you needed a high appraisal and you sort of saw that like, well, okay, it's a nice number. I sort of like this,
yeah.
I didn't do it.
Well, and it's funny because if I were the person going into the open house before starting to clean up everything, I think I'd call the seller and I'd say, "Hey, why did you leave me with such a house? It's such a mess."
And it's a client. It's like maybe they don't think it's a mess. It's you can't do that. And like it's not your client, so it's somebody else's. It's just like I'm walking into this bombed out thing. Like,
So the next time he says, "Well, let me give you a list of next time of stuff to clean: the oven, the stove, mow the lawn."
yeah, people have different standards. And then I heard about another one where, for the open house, they're like, let's make it nice and cozy. And, you put on like potpourri on the stove. And the potpourri is honestly just like an orange and cinnamon, and it smells up the whole house. That's fine. And then it's the winter. You turn on the fireplace. You do your own thing. She started a fire in the house. No kidding.
How did that happen?
With the fireplace. Somehow the fireplace started a fire. Whatever.
Oh my God. How much damage?
It was bad. It was bad.
Oh my
God. I know. It's so bad.
I like when they bake cookies. That always makes it smell good.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so good. I mean, I actually, here's another story. Like I remember my first year in the business, I'm showing property and we're in the master bedroom and we go off to this, it's just like, I call it that little,
alcove or
no, it's just like a little deck off of it.
okay,
and
hold on to that story.
Yeah.
We do have to get to a break here.
Yeah.
All right, you're coming on to our 1 minute mark. All right, which Disney character is named after Ebenezer from Charles Dickens' novel A Christmas Carol? Which Disney character is named after Ebenezer from Charles Dickens' novel A Christmas Carol?
Oh, I don't know.
Call 888-912-1190. First caller with the correct answer is going to win that tanning certificate. Again, one more time. Which Disney character is named after Ebenezer from Charles Dickens' novel, A Christmas Carol? All right. Stay with us. You're listening to The Best of Investing. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to The Best of Investing one more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen of Compass Realty. Third trivia question: which Disney character is named after Ebenezer from Charles Dickens' novel, A Christmas Carol?
I don't know. Ebenezer?
Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, yes.
Notice I just said Ebenezer. I didn't put the rest of it in there. All right, Patty,
Yes.
you're talking about first year that you were in business and something to do with was it an alcove or?
Oh, yeah. So off the master, sometimes they have these little decks, but they're so useless. Like two people can kind of stand there and look out.
Yeah.
So I'm there with a client and the door closed behind us and we couldn't get out. I honestly do not remember how we got back into that house. I do not remember. It may have been that the owner came and like, hey, we're not hanging out in your bedroom, Yeah.
Well,
I just don't remember. It's so long ago. It's 33 years ago. I know that there wasn't anything major, but yeah, that's bad. I mean, there's so many things we're blamed for,
Well, here's something funny that reminds me. So when we first bought our house that we're living in now, about, I don't know, a week or so afterward, my son and I went on an overnight camping trip type thing. And so we come home the next day and I'm looking for my wife and I can't find her. And then I hear her yelling.
Oh my God.
What's going on? And I look outside and off of the one area where we had an upstairs deck off of the family room, somehow she locked herself out. And there was
How long was she there for?
Well, I know that's what I had to ask, because she's out there for about 4 hours. Fortunately, not like overnight. But the thing is, I mean, the only other thing she could have done would be to jump onto the tree and climb down, which she was not going to do.
Yeah.
The deck was a little bit too far to jump down on the ground. So
Yeah.
always
And we
do
don't like carry, some people do, but most people don't like carry their phone completely all over the house. So there's no place to call. At least she knew you were coming back soon.
yeah, that,
Were
exactly.
you on time?
Yes, we were. Thank goodness. No, that was
Otherwise, it'd be your fault.
well, it's always my fault, even when it's
I know,
not.
exactly. It is.
It's like we get into an argument, whether I'm right or wrong, I just say I'm sorry and go on, right?
Yeah. Just wake up in the morning. I'm sorry.
Well, I read that book, Women Are from Venus, Men Are Wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, how about this? Now think about this. If a man says something in the forest and there's no woman there to hear him, is he still wrong? Yes, he is.
It's funny. I'm going to bring up something that has nothing business per se, but I was talking to my sister about, and I don't know, for some reason, this got brought to my mind, about all the Leah Thomas, the guy who transitioned to a woman who is winning all the swimming records in the collegiate scales, right? And my sister, she studied women's studies and was a pretty staunch feminist for many years. And I told her, I said, I don't, for some reason, I don't hear all the feminists getting all upset about this. And I said, if anything, I said, if I were a male chauvinist pig, I said, or I just said male chauvinist. I said, if I was a male chauvinist, I'd be all, yeah, you go, because this just shows the superiority of men over women, no matter what you try to do, right?
Right.
And her comment to me was, male chauvinist is an old term. It's called sexist. And I'm thinking, well, you know what? That's not as strong. I thought what I was using was a stronger.
I thought so too.
Right, because sexist could be like, well, if you're women thinking about men thinking about women, blah, blah, blah. But if you say you're a male chauvinist, you're specifically defining, I think men are superior over women.
It's so crazy. I mean, I guess because of racist or whatever, but I mean, my son's 24. I'm telling him a story and I mentioned, part of the story was this, the person was Chinese or something like that. And he's like, that's racist. I'm like, that's a fact.
Yeah. I mean,
it leads to the context of what I'm saying. So I think they're also messed up right now. Like the way people are like, you can't even mention the fact like, oh, there's a male, that's a Chinese person, like, how is that bad?
Exactly. I mean, if you're not putting any derogatory thing next to it, you just, if there were, 100 black people and there was one white person, and I was trying to point out the white person in the crowd, I'd say, oh, see the white guy right there?
Yeah.
Differentiate,
Can't do that. Right. I mean, like we grew up in a time where they thought they were being politically correct, but like there'd be like a priest, a Jew, a priest, a rabbi, and a pastor walk into a bar. I mean, it's just
it gets a little ridiculous. And yeah, it's funny. I just, what I can't understand though is when they're talking about birthing persons, and rather than just saying mothers, because so far I don't believe any male has ever had a child.
I know.
That I know of, right?
I know.
And
that's really crazy. Unless it's a person that has sex change, but like now, you have two mothers. Oh, the birthing mother, not birth mother.
Well, that's okay. But if you say
birth mother's fine.
Birth mother, but they're saying birthing person, they don't want to even use the word mother, because the intonation is that men can have babies. And it's like, well, scientifically, no,
No.
And when you can't even have a Supreme Court justice who's potentially going to be nominated, can't define what a woman is. I'm kind of, that's what I don't understand. If Biden said he wanted the first black woman on the Supreme Court, I go, wait a minute though. I thought there's no women anymore. Men or women, nothing personal to her, but it's like, well, wait a minute. You can't choose a black woman because it's not a woman anymore. Right. You might as well choose a black man who's also a woman, because men and women are the same now, right?
I know.
I go, we're living in.
Yeah. And young people, I mean, like many say they're bisexual. They're like, it doesn't really matter, male, female, I'm like, really?
Yeah, I don't think honestly, I don't think they even know. Yeah. I mean, it's like it was never an issue, before, and suddenly
Right.
you're being introduced to it, and it's like, well, you know what? If you never introduced to it, how do you know? It's just, I don't know. We're living in
Yeah.
interesting times. But
We are different in times.
back to
And
real.
don't, and the other side of it is like, oh no, it was all happening, a generation and 2 generations ago. It was just hidden and in the closet, and they had to hide who they were. And there is some of that, but
Yeah.
there's also just a lot more. And I don't know, maybe it's vaccinations, maybe, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's like when you have to sort of introduce it to people, it's like, you know what? It's like drugs, right? If you don't introduce people to drugs, they may not just start drugs.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
It's just,
right,
so why tantalize things that don't need tantalizing?
right, exactly.
You're not trying to throw any judgment anywhere, but it's just like, if we maybe just sort of keep things somewhat on par, normal, let's normalize things a little bit,
Yeah,
I think this world will be a little bit better place. All
yeah.
right. So with that, I know we did digress a little bit from that. Let's stay with us. You're listening to The Best of Investing. We'll be back with some closing comments. Welcome back to The Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, with Patty Cohen, and the audience can tell both of us are not feeling well. Before we get into why we're not feeling well, though, go ahead, Patty, give out your information. People have questions about real estate.
Okay, well, hopefully I will get through this without coughing. I'm Patty Cohn with Compass. I'm a real estate broker in Marin County. For the past 34 years, I've actually sold more listings than 99.3% of the 1,500 agents here. So, and I do some San Francisco, some Napa, some Sonoma, but basically mostly Marin. And I am at 415-722-4842. And I can be reached at email Patty, Patti, .Cohn, COHN, at compass.com. And I also wanted to offer something to the viewers. I've got really good, interesting graphs and charts that just came out today covering all of the 9 Bay Area counties that, I don't know, I mean, maybe you don't need statistics for breakfast, but even if you don't, they're really something you can just scan and really get a good sense of what the trends are and what's going on. So I'm happy to just email me, and I'm happy to send them to you.
Okay, let's give out your email one more time.
Patty.Cohn at compass.com. That's PATTI.COHN at compass.com.
Wow. And what are the odds that both of us would not be feeling well today?
I know. Well, 2 years, neither of us had anything. Let's say that.
I know. You know
And
what?
everybody's sick. Do you notice that? Everyone I'm talking to.
Yeah, my wife was at some meeting with and a whole bunch of women got sick. She started to feel sick, but she's gotten over it. I ended up getting sick.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I got a doctor's appointment after this.
Yeah, you could find out what it is. I mean, what I'm hearing from most people is they're getting tested, and it's not COVID, so it's probably not for you either. But here we go.
Just a bad sore throat flu bug thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because it's funny. I look back at time. Yeah, we've had repeated shows sometimes when we've been like on vacation, but we've been on for almost 12 years now. I've never missed a show.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
That is so great.
One time,
well, I'm that person also. I am on it. So here we go. We did it, and we're like going right to bed.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely what we're going to do. All right. Yeah, I want to give a little update on Pacific Private Money. So I found out that this year in 2022, we are expecting to do, you ready for this? Between 800 million and $1 billion in loans.
Wow. What?
Yeah, because we've expanded our broker network. We've got a lot of new brokers coming on. And we've been doing some, larger loans. We've got our 4 funds, maybe coming out with another one if need be. But all the funds are doing pretty well. Everyone seems to be happy.
Wow.
Yeah, the demand is there.
Jeez.
The real estate market.
Mark's doing pretty darn good.
Well, that poor guy is busy. In fact, he was so busy, that's why he said, Edward, I just can't go on today's show.
Wow.
You're just going to have to do it without me.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Patty, again, thank you so much for trudging through this with me. It was quite challenging on both of our parts. Are you ready for our thoughts for the day?
Yes.
Okay. So I went to a bookstore and I asked the saleswoman, where's the self-help section? She said, if I told you, it would defeat the purpose. But thank you very much. All right.
I
And
can't even say goodbye.
and why can't you
Have a good one.
all right, why can't you trust large trees?
Oh,
Because they're usually the shadiest ones.
shady, those trees. I love it.
All right. Well, Patty, again, thank you so much for joining us. I know you got to take off.
Thank you. I hope you feel better.
Thank
Just
you.
just baby yourself. Take it easy.
That's what I'm going to
Take
do
it
right
easy.
after the show.
Netflix.
Netflix. There you go. And sleep. Lots of sleep. And
Yes.
rest. And
All right.
fluids.
Good. We're
Okay.
troopers.
Tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions, and we'll be feeling better too. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long.